Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy today's episode.
Golyulu. Puff, puff. In the sea, such a sound is constantly being made. After Wangwen delivered the food, Blood Moon was not polite. His weak body gave him an unprecedented desire to eat. He set aside his fear of Yi Bei, waved his wings, rushed towards the fish, and gulped. Swallowed up. When the first fish was swallowed, the fish directly turned into pure energy and penetrated into the body of Blood Moon. Article 2. Article 10. Article 100. The serious injury that was hit by Yi Bei just now, as he continued to swallow, healed quickly. After being swallowed for 200 days, Shueyue's body had completely recovered, but at this moment, he also became calm. Although there were more than 800 fish in front of him, he did not continue to swallow it anymore, but was extremely fast. Rushed to Yi Bei. Putting away his wings, he looked at Yi Bei respectfully. Wang, my body has completely recovered. The task you gave me, I will definitely complete it. Squeak. Opening his mouth, he assured Yi Bei with great confidence. Very good. Take all the blood eagles and leave. Yi Bei spit out Shinzi and looked at the moon seriously. Blood Moon. The reason for taking such a name, besides his body is as bright as blood, is also to resemble Guyu. With the help of Blood Moon, Guyu will definitely be very safe. As for the humans who have harmed Yi Bei, his decision is to take revenge himself. Yes, King. Bloody Moon didn't even question why Yi Bei had set up such a task. As an apostle, Yi Bei's orders are everything, just a firm implementation. Squeak. After getting Yi Bei's order, Blood Moon shouted loudly. This is summoning the mutant blood eagles who are still alive in the entire mutant beast group. Whoosh whoosh. The sound of the Blood Moon fell, and in the next instant, 3 whizzing sounds appeared. The 3 bodies were like blood eagles with flames, transformed and flew to the Blood Moon. However, there is a clear gap between the 3 blood eagles and the Blood Moon, whether it is breath or the strength of combat effectiveness. If it is not wrong, Blood Moon was originally the leader of the Blood Eagle clan. It's a pity. The number of Blood Eagles is too small. After you have gone to the human world, if you have the opportunity, you can reproduce more. After I appear, they will be given evolution and wisdom. Looking at the 4 Blood Eagles, Yi Bei continued. Hoop. Then the body Halala waved in the sea. Yes, King. We know the King.
Yes.
Blood Moon and 3 Blood Eagles said one after another. Puff puff. Whizzing. In the next instant, they slammed their wings. Their bodies turned into 4 blood-red lightnings, and they rushed towards the surface of the sea. Puff puff. When the body got out of the water, in the blink of an eye, the 4 Blood Eagles rushed to the sky, submerged into the clouds, and based on the memory of Yi Bei's spiritual power transmitted to the Blood Moon, they flew towards the east quickly. The speed was extremely fast. In the sea, Yi Bei's body was suspended quietly in the water. When the 4 Blood Eagles disappeared completely, he focused his attention on these mutant beasts. With the finished evolving medicine and a large number of fish used as food, the strength of all mutant beasts has doubled once again after being swallowed by this wave. Especially the mutant beasts who have just obtained the finished evolution potion, they have improved the fastest. Of this result, Yi Bei is naturally very satisfied. Next, our goal is to go straight to the mercenary base. The sea is very big, and there is a lot of food inside. If it is swallowed, there will be time in the future. Next, I don't want anyone to disturb the rules. Chi-Chi. Yi Bei spit out the letter. Whoosh. After dropping this sentence, his muscles contracted violently again, bursting out with extreme speed, and his huge body turned into an afterimage, leading the direction in the sea. Immediately afterwards, the mutant beasts quickly followed. The sea world is full of magic. When Yi Bei moved in it this time, he deliberately sneaked into the bottom layer. However, after reaching the deepest depth of the seabed, because light cannot penetrate, it is pitch black and nothing can be seen. But, in this dark situation, Yi Bei discovered that his ability had a hidden use. Spiritual power spread. The domain scope covers all mutant beasts. After granting them the ability to move freely on the bottom of the sea, Yibei discovered that as long as they were in his own domain, as long as he wanted, these mutant beasts could also clearly see the surrounding situation on the bottom of the sea without any light. Zzz. At this moment, Yibei's body was rapidly twisting on the seabed ground. The golden lion landed on both feet and ran fast on the ground. Those mutant beasts are like everyone else. Such a scene, if recorded by humans, the jaw would be shocked. It is completely beyond logic, beyond imagination. 1 hour. 2 hours. Time flies. There is plenty of food in the sea. Although Yibei issued an order not to delay time and prey randomly, but in the process of advancing, there are still many fishes or other sea creatures swimming through the mouth. These things naturally became the food in the mouths of these mutant beasts. Even Yibei, who rushed to the front, unceremoniously swallowed any living creature in front of him and didn't intend to let it go. There are too many species of fish under the sea. Different races have different genes. It would be a great waste to encounter it and not devour it. 3 hours. 4 hours. The number of evolution points, the number of genes, and the overall strength of the entire mutant beast group are soaring. This feeling is extremely exciting for Yibei. But after the 5th hour, Yibei, who was advancing fast, stopped suddenly. Wow! The mutant beasts that followed Yibei also stopped one after another. Wong, are we there yet? The mercenary base is under the sea? But there seems to be nothing here. 9 mutant pythons surrounded Yibei's body. Through Yibei's realm, they released their spiritual power and shot around, but found nothing, so they were full of doubts. This is not a mercenary base. However, I seem to have found something good. Yibei's eyes widened. The range of mental power is 30 kilometers. As long as it is within this range, everything, even a tiny shrimp, cannot be hidden from Yibei's detection. This ability is definitely a huge killer in the sea. In fact, Yibei had discovered a lot of gold before, as well as the jewels sunk in the sea and various submarine treasures in the human world, which are rich and invincible. It's just those that did not cause Yibei interest of. It's different now. What the mental power detected, this time completely exceeded Yibei's expectations. At 7 o'clock, at least 10,000 meters under the sea, in a deep-sea gully that is thousands of meters deep, there is an extremely old building. The gully is extremely dark, without any light. If it were not for the help of Yibei's spiritual power domain, there would never be such a building. Bang, bang, bang. At this moment, Yibei's heartbeat accelerated crazily. The sea is mysterious. Here, countless lives have been bred, and it is the source of life. Majestic, magnificent, hidden countless wealth. Similarly, in this endless sea, countless civilizations are buried, even prehistoric civilizations. In the huge water pressure and endless darkness, the relics of those civilizations slow down as time goes by and the years go by, slowly rot, turn into ashes, and become a part of the sea. With the rise of mankind, mankind has become the new overlord in this world. Obviously, they live on land other than the sea, but they have always claimed to have completely conquered the sea. But what about the real facts? The 20,000 meters of the underwater world, the place that humans can really touch, is absolutely limited. Yibei's mental strength followed the thousands of meters deep gully to observe, and his breathing became extremely rapid at this moment. The length of that gully is at least more than 10,000 meters, and the width is at least 1 kilometer. There is no light, no bottom, not even a deep-sea fish, full of silence and weirdness. The depth of the ravine is 2,500 meters, and Yibei itself is on the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. It is not too much to say that it is more than 20,000 meters under the sea. Of course, the buildings hidden in the gullies are estimated to reach 30,000 meters under the sea. This is an absolute limit for human life. If not for the magical ability obtained from the treasure chest and free movement in the water, perhaps the buildings hidden in this gully, it is estimated that they will be buried forever until they are eroded into ashes by the years and will not be discovered by intelligent life. Unbelievable place. Chi. Yibei spit out the letter. Borrowing the field of mental power, carefully look at it. The building, no, it should be a building city. Although it had been covered by dust for a long time, Yibei could tell at a glance that the entire city was built with expensive white marble. The white marble releases an icy breath in the sea. Huge muddy column. Mysterious pattern of ghost swordsmen. And the words that Yibei couldn't understand? Wong, what's wrong? Shall we move on? King, what did you find? Is it dangerous? When Yibei was observing carefully, the 9 pythons were talking next to each other, because Yibei stopped for more than an hour. Observing the city under the sea, it took an hour and a flash. Even Yibei himself didn't notice. Okay. The voices of the 9 pythons made Yibei suddenly recover. Huh. His eyes swept across these mutant beast groups. Chi, come with me. Next, no matter what you see, don't destroy it. Even the fish under the sea can't be swallowed without my permission. Shinzi spit out. Yibei's voice was cold. Whoosh. The next moment, Yibei moved, twisting his body, moving quickly in the ocean. And the direction he rushed towards is exactly that ravine. System, what's the matter with the buildings in the ravine? As he moved forward, Yibei couldn't help but ask the system. Perhaps it is a prehistoric civilization. Or maybe it is a legendary civilization. It was buried in the sea. Similar to this civilization, I don't know how many buried in the sea, and there is nothing fuss about. Of course, every civilization, they are all rare treasures. If they are discovered, they must not be let go. The system answers. Laugh. But Yibei's eyes widened after hearing this. Buried civilization? More than one place? This system must know something. But looking at the situation, he didn't want to explain too much. As for the latter part, needless to say about the system, Yibei also knew that if he discovered ancient civilization, if he didn't go to Taba, it would definitely be a shame. Next, Yibei did not communicate with the system. The speed of the body is very fast. And the mutant beasts that followed Yibei, after moving forward for more than 10 minutes, they finally borrowed Yibei's powerful spiritual power domain and saw the building buried in the ravine deep in the sea. They are some mutant beasts who have always lived on the experimental island, but after seeing the magnificent underwater structure, they were shocked, their eyes widened, and their heartbeats accelerated. The gully is here. Who? Without any hesitation, Yibei took the lead, with a huge body, diving into the ravine. Huh. However, Yibei suddenly felt something wrong when his body sank into the gully. The temperature of the sea in this gully is much higher than that outside. Logically speaking, the deeper the seabed, the lower the temperature. But here, it directly violates this common sense. It's wired. Chi. Yibei spit out Shinzi, and after feeling the abnormality, his speed immediately slowed down a lot. However, as the distance narrowed, the spiritual power shrouded more and more places in the buried building complex. Pieces of white marble were piled up. After a long time, Yibei unexpectedly discovered that his own domain with a diameter of 30 kilometers, it is impossible to cover all the buildings in this gully. What a huge building complex! What is the reason why these things will be buried in the sea? Yibei's eyes widened, and his mind was spinning quickly. Although mental power can perceive the small details in the entire building, it must be focused on observation. Just like eyes. You can see a lot, far away, but only when you concentrate will you discover the uniqueness of that place. Yibei's spiritual power realm can only feel the hugeness of the building complex, and in terms of details, he feels that it may not be possible to figure out all the details after 10 days. This is a human building. It should be. Can human beings dive into the bottom of the sea just like us? I didn't feel any human breath. No, there are no living creatures, not even fish. Wang Chunhua Qyu, and the 9 pythons were shocked. Their voices kept constant. Wang, something seems to be shining. Look here. Suddenly, a mutant squirrel yelled, made a squeaky sound, and shouted at Yibei excitedly. Okay. Huh. Yibei didn't hesitate. immediately looked at the mental power in the direction pointed by the mutant squirrel. This look, Yi Bei's eyes were filled with bloodshot eyes. Lingzhu. Yes, the squirrel found something glowing, and after Yi Bei observed it with mental power, he suddenly discovered that it was a spiritual orb. It was exactly the same as the spirit orb that the mother snake handed to herself on the experimental island before. On the dark seabed, on the spirit orb, the faint white light of the releaser, a bead the size of a human fist, got stuck between two huge, pillar-shaped buildings. The faint white light continuously released from the beads. Deep under the sea. This bead does not know how many years it has existed. No light can pass down, but the light on this bead has not disappeared. From this point of view alone, it shows that this thing is by no means ordinary. System. This is the spirit orb? When I first became a python, on the experimental island, the spirit orb that I had eaten? Yi Bei's eyes were blood red, and the appearance of spirit beads in the lost, civilized buildings in this gully shocked him. If it is really Lingzhu. So did the spirit orbs here come from another place? Or did the spirit orbs on the experimental island come from here? No matter how you look at it, this is all weird. Respected host, this is indeed Lingzhu. The system answers. Whoosh. In the next second, Yi Bei was not wordy at all. The huge body exploded with terrible power, and the speed was about to break through the limit, and it rushed in the direction of the spiritual bead. Less than 3 seconds. The Lingzhu was easily taken out by Yi Bei from the two huge columnar buildings. But this time, Yi Bei didn't directly swallow the spirit orb, but placed it directly in front of him. The spiritual power domain and the visual acuity of the naked eye gathered on the spirit orb at the same time, and he carefully observed it. Wong. Something is shining here too. It looks like the bead. I have them here too, a lot. Strange. When I just came here before, there was no light at all. Why are there so many now? Could it be that these beads will only release white light when they find life appears, and then attract life to stay? The mutant beast had used their wisdom and found out that there were still a lot of glowing spirit orbs around, and immediately analyzed. Originally, Yi Bei was carefully observing the spirit orb. After hearing these comments, Yi Bei's body was slightly startled. Yes, at the beginning, he observed this building through his domain ability. At that time, there was no spiritual orb, nor any light. But now, the number of spiritual orbs is increasing. What does this mean? The scariest thing is another thing. Yi Bei remembered clearly that he broke out of the shell and obtained spirit orbs from the mother snake and swallowed the spirit orbs before turning on the system. If all of them were spirit orbs, wouldn't it be possible to cause it? Countless devouring systems? It feels terrible to think about it. System, do these spirit orbs exist just like you? Call. Yi Bei took a deep breath. This matter must be clarified. Host, Lingzhu is just a carrier of energy. It is like a battery used by humans. In this civilization, it acts as an energy source. I know what the host is thinking. This system is unique, and the entire universe there is only one. From the time the host is reborn, the system is already on the host. At first, it was only the host who swallowed the spirit orbs and gained the power in it to enable the system. The system clearly explained. Oh? After listening to this, Yi Bei couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Infinite evolution system, but a super killer. It is the most critical existence for becoming stronger. If other creatures can also obtain this system, or there are countless systems in this world, it is not very wonderful. I see. If I am not mistaken, those columnar buildings are things that export energy, just like wires. It seems that what I found this time is a high-tech civilization. Yi Bei said seriously. Haha. Then, his eyes swept across all the mutant beasts. Listen, everyone. The distance you keep with me must be within 30 kilometers in diameter. Once you exceed this distance, you will be crushed by the powerful water pressure. From now on, everyone is free to be in this building. If you find this kind of luminous beads, they will all be sent to me. If there are other discoveries, let me know as soon as possible. Now, let's open them all. Chi-Chi. Yi Bei spit out the letter. This complex of buildings is really too big. If you let all the mutant beasts help out, you can discover all the treasures of this lost civilization as quickly as possible.
Yes,
Yes, King.
yes, yes.
The mutant beasts, the golden lion family, and the mutant reticulated pythons all spoke. Wow. The next moment, they quickly dispersed and began to explore the huge complex. Of course, when these mutant beasts dispersed, Yi Bei's mental power also spread out. As long as one of the mutant beasts is in danger, Yi Bei will know it for the first time and find any treasure. Yi Bei knows. When the mutant beasts go to find treasures, whoosh, Yi Bei's body also sneaked in quickly, and the target was locked on a magical building. This building is the center of the area that Yi Bei observed. There is a strange triangle. In the middle of the triangle, a weird pattern is depicted. There is a huge eye on it, and the pupil of that eye is extremely deep. However, after Yi Bei saw this pattern, he always felt like he had seen it before, but he couldn't remember it now. In addition, each corner of the triangle is inlaid with a luminous spiritual bead. Whoosh whoosh. Following Yi Bei's huge body, floating above the triangle and carefully observing the pattern in the middle, something strange happened. Chi-chi. Such a sound appeared in the triangle. Then, Yi Bei suddenly discovered that the 3 spiritual beads had a brilliant light, and the silver-white energy had turned into countless lines. He was walking along the 3 edges of the triangle, magical, sci-fi, and even incredible. 1 second, 2 seconds. In less than 3 seconds, energy spread, and the entire triangle, including the image inside, all lit up. The eyes in the middle of the triangle seemed to have come alive completely, and a terrifying aura was released from those eyes. Formidable mental fluctuations followed closely. If not for Yi Bei's mental power is strong enough, maybe the spirit will be crushed by this eye in an instant. I remember. Looking at this triangle, Yi Bei's body was stunned, because at this moment, he suddenly remembered where he saw this triangle. Hiss. The body took a step back unconsciously. Yi Bei's eyes were full of exclamation. The silver-white light is bright and dazzling deep in the sea. 3 spiritual beads form a triangle shape. Mysterious patterns and countless lines outline a strange eye. Profound. Haze. Full of magical power. After the energy was reached, those eyes, as if they had come alive, kept staring at Yi Bei, and the powerful mental power was released from these eyes. Buzzing. Immediately afterwards, it seemed that hundreds of millions of lives were whispering, and the buzzing sound kept resounding in Yi Bei's mind. If Yi Bei was weaker, this kind of mental power might be able to control Yi Bei immediately. The evil eye. Looking at this eye, the first name Yi Bei could think of. But I've seen it. It must be it. Absolutely correct. Chi-chi. The next moment, Yi Bei's eyes widened, snorting, spitting out the scarlet letter, muttering to himself in horror. Yes, Yi Bei finally thought of where he saw this eye. Mysterious triangular pyramid. The mysterious eye depicted in the pyramid triangle above the dollar. That eye is too similar to the current pattern. Could it be that humans have already discovered the existence of this civilization? Yi Bei continued. Devil's Eye. Host, if it is correct, this is the center of this civilization. Through the energy stored in the spirit orb, the Devil's Eye is open to control life, so as to wait for the chance to resurrect again. This civilization has suffered a devastating blow, and all life has been extinct. This eye is their last hope for resurrection. There are no living fishes in this sea area. Looking at the current situation, it should be in this spirit orb. The stored energy attempts to control those lives, but those lives are too weak and can only go to death in the end. The voice of the system suddenly resounded in Yi Bei's mind. Under normal circumstances, the system is just a machine, with an indifferent voice and no emotion. But at this moment, Yi Bei felt very clearly. When the system said this sentence, there was an unprecedented pity in his tone. Yes, it seemed that he was pitying this civilization and felt a little sympathy for them. The world of the future, but mine. It's also of the Snake Clan. This civilization has long since disappeared, but there is no need to resurrect it. Whizzing. Laugh. After feeling the malice in that eye, Yi-Bei spit out the letter, but didn't dare to delay any longer. The scarlet letter was rolled, and the 3 spirit beads were easily swept away, and they were directly thrown into the death forest for storage. After the Lingzhu disappeared, the silver-white light in this eye also disappeared, and that terrible energy was naturally gone. Whoosh whoosh. The muscles of his body twisted, and Yi-Bei's huge body continued to explore in this complex. There are spirit beads everywhere. See one, receive one. This kind of thing, but the original civilization used to store energy. If it is placed in the human world, it is a brand new energy source, a vitally sought-after product. Don't let it go for nothing. Wow. However, afterwards, he traveled thousands of meters to Yi-Bei and found nothing special. They are all mysterious buildings composed of rows of white marble. A dead city without any life. Perhaps many lives existed in it, and there were also many technological products. But with the passage of time, those gadgets, under the huge water pressure, have long completely turned into powder, and nothing is left. It seems that the only valuable thing here is the Lingzhu. If you can master some of the technologies of this civilization, that would be great. After strolling around, there were no major discoveries, and Yi-Bei always felt a little regretful. But just when Yi-Bei had the urge to go, Wong, here is a discovery. Chi chi chi. Mutant mice about the size of humans made chuckles excitedly. After this voice reached Yi-Bei's ears through mental power, it was just such a sentence. Whoosh. In the next second, Yi-Bei did not hesitate. Judging from the voice of this mutant mouse, there must be a big discovery. The speed is too fast. The body turned into a black shadow. In less than 10 seconds, Yi-Bei appeared next to the mutant mouse, but after arriving here, Yi-Bei stopped. Here, there are broken white marble and masonry everywhere, piled into a hill hundreds of meters high. It was like a fierce battle happened. The mouse, because of its relatively small body, got in along the gap in this white marble gravel hill. If it weren't for this mouse, Yi-Bei would basically be unable to observe such a place. Concentration of mental energy. Observe the past along the white marble wind. Dark. There is no trace of life. However, when Yi-Bei's mental power was continuously observed, he only discovered that there was really something magical in the ruins. Bring out the stuff in there. Be careful. Don't break it. Pooh. Chi-chi. Yi-Bei was breathing heavily, his body entrenched outside the ruined white marble, and he ordered the mutant mouse inside. The eyes are wide. There were even some bloodshot eyes in the pupils. Because, in this ruin, Yi-Bei used the field of mental power and suddenly observed a corpse. Only a pile of bones remained. Under such terrible water pressure, the bones were not crushed to pieces. The most important thing is that his instinct told him that Yi-Bei, this white bone, may come from a prehistoric civilization. This is of great significance. If it is really a prehistoric and original civilization, and the bones are preserved, using modern genetic means, it can be resurrected. At the beginning, Yi-Bei had another feeling at this moment. When he saw this bone, there was also an instinct that told him Yi-Bei, as long as he swallowed all the bones, he would gain at least 100,000 evolution points, and at the same time his gene points could be greatly increased. Regardless of the above, Yi-Bei is bound to get this bone. It's a pity that Yi-Bei's body is too big now. If he forcefully removes the white bones, the ruins will be collapsed. Those huge white marble bricks might crush all the bones. It is naturally the most suitable to let a mutant mouse with a smaller size do it. Yes, King. The mouse is cautious, and with wisdom, this guy is slowly freeing his hands. This time I used my hands directly to get those bones out of the ruins one by one. 1 minute, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. After a full half an hour passed, the mutant mouse completely transported the bone and placed the broken bone in an open place next to it, making it into the shape of the ruins. As for Yi-Bei, his attention was focused on this white bone. In my mind, the outline of a creature slowly emerged. The appearance of that creature made Yi-Bei feel a bit chilly. What kind of monster is this? Those broken bones, under the rearrangement of the mutant mouse, formed a completely different biological pattern. The overall height has reached 3 meters. There are 6 arm-like things in total. Each arm is more than 2 meters in length, and the body is extremely uncoordinated. But it must be said that an arm of this length is extremely large for intelligent life. Effective. For example, in the manufacturing industry. In terms of production, with an extra pair of hands, as long as they coordinate well with the brain supplement, the work speed can be doubled. In addition, this creature has a big head, occupies nearly 1/3 of the entire body. The large storage capacity of the head is directly above the head. There is a very large hole. If Yibei didn't make a mistake in the analysis, there should be eyes. That is to say, this creature has only one eye. Triangle. Eye. In the next second, Yibei connected the creature's eyes with the triangle. In addition, this skeleton, after countless years of cleaning, can still maintain this intact state. It can be seen that the bones are hard. Analyzed from this point, it is not difficult to see that this creature possesses super combat power and far super modern human. 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Yibei stared at this bone for more than 10 minutes. If he hadn't become a python, had the ability to move freely in the water, and strong mental power, perhaps Yibei would never see such a thing in his life. It was too sci-fi. It was incredible. This is the legendary alien creature? No. The Earth has existed for too long, and there is no idea how many civilizations have been born. Compared with the entire Earth, the history of human civilization is almost negligible. It is impossible to guarantee that intelligent life appeared on the Earth before. Chi. Yibei spit out the letter. From this moment, Yibei deeply realized that this world is definitely not simple. Although he has now become the original creature Titan Python, however, compared to the Earth, or compared to those lost civilizations, it is still not worth mentioning. Even the entire human race is extremely weak. Huge body, huge eyes, strong bones, 6 super long arms. It is also possible to use spirit orbs that cannot be judged as energy carriers. In addition, triangular eyes were constructed. And this white marble building, he just analyzed it a little bit, and he was able to determine 100% that this civilization is definitely much stronger than the current human civilization, even far beyond. Such a civilization can be destroyed, and what human beings do. And what about their mutant snake clan? Weak. Too weak. Have to continue to become stronger. At this moment, the faith is extremely firm. System, can you help put this bone away? Chi. 10 minutes later, Yibei spat out Shinzi. Although he wanted to swallow the bone immediately and obtain a lot of evolution points and gene points, he instinctively told him that it was too early and the bones were still useful. In addition, the system was also exceptionally quiet at this time. If the swallow had enough value, it is estimated that the system would have urged him to Yibei. Of course can. Without any hesitation. Laugh. After the system said this sentence, a silver-white light appeared directly in the depths of the sea, making a sneer. Immediately after that, the bone disappeared from the place in an instant. I don't know where it went. With this method of system, every time I saw it, Yibei was amazed. As for the mutant mouse, his eyes widened, watching the bone disappear. When he looked at Yibei, the awe and surrender in his eyes increased again. Even in the heart of this mutant mouse, Yibei was already a god. The same exists. Very good. What you found this time is very valuable. Keep a safe distance from me. Now you can go and devour the creatures in the sea. Chi. After putting away the bones, Yibei glanced at the mutant mouse, spit out the letter, and said lightly, "Yes, King." Since obtaining the finished evolving potion, it has not only possessed wisdom, but also can quickly digest it after swallowing organisms. Food is energy. Hearing that there is food, the eyes of this mutant mouse are lit up, and its dark body is transformed into the deep sea. A black line rushed out of the ravine. The speed of this mouse is also extremely fast. It's a pity bones can be preserved, as well as spirit orbs, but so far, They are basically ruins of buildings. Look at those mutant beasts found. They are all energy-storing spirit orbs. That's it. Is there no technology stored here? Seeing the mouse leave, Yi-Bei's huge body entangled here, muttering to himself. But just as Yi-Bei had just finished saying this, other mutant beasts had made a huge discovery. Wong, there is something here too. So strange. This is the sound of the flower in the 9 mutant pythons. Okay. After hearing this sound, Yi-Bei immediately rushed towards the flower. At the same time, many mutant beasts also turned their gazes in the direction of flower, and their eyes were full of envy. After discovering a good thing, as long as you give it to Yi-Bei, you can get the opportunity to go out and devour food. This is a fatal temptation for these mutant beasts. But envy, at this moment, all the mutant beasts, they are all frantically exploring in this building. Except for collecting the spirit orbs, they will not let go of any corners, and are looking forward to discovering good things. Wow! Whizzing! Soon, Yi-Bei appeared next to Flower. I was still sighing that this civilization did not leave any special treasures. But according to what the Flower discovered, Yi-Bei looked over and suddenly opened his mouth. Great discovery. It is definitely a big discovery. Compared to the bones of that ancient civilization, it was even more shocking to discover. It was a huge round pillar, and in the middle of the pillar was an unknown piece of metal. The metal is a blue diamond. Each side is at least 2 meters long. The most special thing is that Yi-Bei can see clearly that there are many fist-sized holes neatly arranged around the pillar. High-tech products? Before those holes should be the buttons on the console? After being amazed, such an idea immediately appeared in Yi-Bei's mind. If this is the case, then this diamond-shaped metal is not the most common display in modern human technology? Thinking of this, Yi-Bei was ecstatic. With a display, there must be something to store. As long as you crack it, you can definitely find useful information about this civilization from their system. Can you analyze this thing? Yi-Bei looked at the mysterious blue metal in front of him and immediately communicated directly with the system through his spirit. This kind of thing exists in the depths of the sea. If you get the human world, find a large group of scientists and study for a few years, you will definitely have a breakthrough. But that time is too long, and the system is different. This thing is very mysterious. Maybe he knows. Yi-Bei's heart is like this. Host. This system does not have the ability to crack, and the level of the system is not enough. If it can be upgraded one day, cracking is not impossible. The system replied. The sound is cold, but with a pity, the performance of this system is still very different from the real machine. Okay, do you know what this is? Yi-Bei continued to ask. Although I have a general guess in my mind, I am not sure. After all, his original identity as Yi-Bei was just a big boss of a company, and he was not a technology guy. According to the appearance, it seems like a technological product. I don't know exactly what it is for. In addition, I hope that when the host asks in the future, he will ask for something valuable. The main role of the infinite evolution system is to help the host evolve at the physical and genetic level. In addition, the host also has a certain IQ and has opened up a lot of beasts. This kind of technology products can be researched by themselves. After the system dropped this sentence, it was completely silent. Okay, this sounds really fine. With the group of mutant beasts that Yi-Bei currently has, just give them enough time to let them evolve, and then find opportunities to let them learn to play with human technology. Maybe these guys can still create brand new technology products come out. Call. Take a deep breath. The ability to move freely in the water is really good. When breathing, there is no difference from the ground. Hua, you did a great job. This is indeed a very great discovery. Well, now you can also go out here to find food. Eat as much as you want. Of course, you must keep close enough to me. Otherwise, you cannot survive in the sea. Yi-Bei spit out the letter and said lightly, Yes, King. When the blood python flower heard Yi-Bei's words, he was overjoyed. Whoosh! In the next moment, the body turned into a red shadow and quickly rushed out of the ravine. Although these buildings are shocking, full of weirdness and technology, however, These things do not have much appeal to these mutant beasts who have just opened their minds. What they care about now is how to become stronger and gain more food. After watching Flower leave quickly, Yi Bei's eyes slowly narrowed. Now the mutant beasts indeed have enough IQ. However, compared with humans, the alien animals have less creativity. In their concept, all of them are crazy eating food evolution, and even a large part of their IQ is used in how to quickly obtain food. This kind of thing must be changed. Human beings are strong because of technology. The group of different animals, if they want to become stronger, just have a strong physical fitness, which is far from enough. Yi Bei had such thoughts in his heart. Then he focused all his eyes on this azure magical metal. System, if you can. This metal and the entire platform, can you help me put it away? If you have a chance in the future, maybe you can crack it. Yi Bei looked forward to it. With my own strength, it would be great if I could one day return to the human world and control a large group of scientists to study. Of course can. The system was silent for a few seconds, and the reaction speed was slower than before, but the answer was very decisive. But this time the huge magic metal did not disappear directly, because the system immediately said, "Host." According to the system's judgment, this pile of buildings contains extremely powerful energy, but supports the fundamental existence of the entire building complex, where, as if it were actually taken away, the entire building would collapse. Okay, so serious? Hearing this, Yi Bei was taken aback for a moment. The buildings here are really shocking. If they collapse, it will definitely be a great loss. But from the analysis of the system, this magical metal is definitely a good thing. Take it away. Anyway, nothing else is found here? Yi Bei said decisively. The most important things are in your own hands. Look, everyone. From now on, stop collecting spirit orbs, stop continuing to explore, and all rush out of the gully for me. Chi-Chi. A scarlet letter was vomiting in his mouth, and huge spiritual power spread. After hearing Yi Bei's words, the mutant beasts rushed towards the gully outside the building complex with a large number of spirit orbs, without any hesitation. Laugh. As for Yi Bei's side, as Yi Bei made up his mind, the system immediately took action. A silver-white light directly enveloped the azure metal. The next moment, the metal and the entire console directly disappeared from the place. Rumble. When the metal block disappeared, the originally magnificent building seemed to have lost its support. Booming. The huge building rumbling down. After hitting the ground, the white marble that looked extremely hard turned into powder in the next moment. This? Whoosh whoosh. Yi Bei's body quickly rushed out of the ravine, but the power of the spiritual power domain was still released. After seeing the collapse of the buildings, they did not turn into pieces of stone, but all turned into powder, and nothing was left. His heart was shocked. What exactly is azure metal? How many years the building has gone through? Is it able to maintain a normal state in the face of super strong water pressure under the energy of this thing? Could it be that this civilization was originally a civilization living in the underwater world? How powerful is this azure metal that can keep such a large building complex intact for hundreds of millions of years? Countless question marks appeared in Yi Bei's heart at this moment. However, when he saw the collapse of the entire building complex, Yi Bei was full of curiosity about the azure metal that he put away just now. It is definitely a good thing, and if there is a chance in the future, he must study it thoroughly. Whoosh. Thinking like this in my heart, the power in my body burst out instantly, moving towards the outside of this gully at a very fast speed. And when Yi Bei's body moved outside the gully, something terrible happened at this moment. The ancient buildings that had spread for tens of kilometers were instantly turned into ashes. Booming. The gully that was originally several thousand meters deep, after the buildings were turned into ashes, there was a rumbling sound, and then they started to move closer. The gully, healed? Swim beyond the ravine. Yi Bei looked at the scene in front of him, shocked. As for the other mutant beast groups, they quickly gathered around Yi Bei. Looking at the gully that was slowly healing from a distance, his eyes were filled with joy and shock. Thanks to the king, otherwise this kind of thing happens here, we have to die inside. The king is amazing. Yes. Everyone, hand over the shiny beads. After looking at the shocking picture, the mutant beasts also said in their mouths, "Okay." As for Yi Bei, there was a cold light in his eyes. As he watched the gully healed, the powerful mental power could clearly feel the huge power coming from the gully. A large amount of seawater is backlogged. Rumble. Wow. An extremely terrifying shaking occurred in the depths of the sea. It seems that what happens here will not take long before a terrible tsunami will be set off. Chi-Chi. Spit out Shinzi. Yi Bei's voice was cold. Haha. Then, he set his sights on the mutant beasts. Immediately in front of Yi Bei, although it was all seawater, the twisted space appeared directly. Everyone throw all the spirit orbs they found. Spirit orbs as a carrier of energy. When they were on the experimental island, they were found by the people in the mercenary base from the beginning. All such good things must be collected and can be expected, waiting for the mysterious blue metal to crack. Later, it will have a big effect.
Yes. Yes.
The mutant beasts heard that they quickly dropped the spirit orbs they had obtained into the twisted space. 1, 100, 1,000, 5,000. Yi Bei has been counting finally. He placed 5,531 spirit orbs in the death forest, which was completely over. Lingzhu collection is complete. Those thousands of meters of ravines are all healed together. The huge energy, through the sea, constantly vibrates towards the outside. Fortunately, on Yi Bei's side, everyone's body is strong enough. Even in the face of this, the explosive energy is not a big deal. Okay, now everyone with me. Keep going. On the road, if there are fish passing by, everyone is free to hunt and kill, but you must keep a sufficient distance from me. Laugh. Yi Bei spit out the letter. Looked deeply at the healed gully again. A long civilization from history was completely buried in this way. Apart from witnessing its thrilling experience, there is no chance to appear in front of intelligent life again. This feeling, I don't know why, Yi Bei always feels like himself. In my heart, it seemed that something was missing. Civilization. Such a powerful civilization can completely disappear. Time and time are really terrible things. Whoosh whoosh. Chi-Chi. As for the mutant beasts, after hearing the food swallowed, their eyes glowed, and they quickly followed Yi Bei's back, and they had no interest in the disappearance of civilization here. In the Atlantic, deep in the ocean, thousands of mutant beasts are advancing quickly. But on the other side, when those thousands of meters of gully and buildings collapsed, causing a strong shock, an unprecedented disaster was brewing. The closest to this sea area is the United States and Canada. Today, for mankind, it is still an extremely peaceful day. The sky, the sun was shining warmly. On the beach, there are small tents and some seats everywhere. The beauties in bikinis, like beautiful scenery, shuttled through them. Thump, thump. In the seawater, from time to time, some people jumped in, waving their arms, or sneaking into it, swimming quickly. It's just that today, these human beings who come on vacation all feel something is wrong. Wow. One of them, a golden-haired white man wearing only big red pants, got out of the sea with a crash. Damn it. Why does the sea suddenly become a little cold? Saying this, he put his hands on his chest and rushed toward the beach quickly, exposing his body to the sun as much as possible to keep warm. Wow. However, after the white man ran a few laps on the beach, he was completely stunned. Staring at the distant sea, the pupils shrank frantically, because he suddenly saw that in the distance of the sea, a huge wave tens of meters high was rushing towards this side. There are no hints, no signs. Buy it. Joe, come out and don't dive anymore. We must leave quickly. The whole person yelled like crazy. The sound falls. The humans who were originally around the beach finally realized something was wrong. God, what is this? Tsunami, huge tsunami. How did it appear? Isn't it absolutely safe? Run. The casual and quiet atmosphere was broken at this moment. American men in big pants, beautiful women in bikinis, madly towards the beach outside. What a gentleman image! What man's demeanor! Completely defeated at this moment, countless men, because the women in front of them run too slowly and unceremoniously knocked it to the ground. Help! No! Oh! No! Bastard! Save me! In less than 3 seconds on the beach, it turned into a on Earth. Wow! Booming! Those tens of meters high waves were only the first wave. When it hits the beach, humans are like ants. The huge wave swallows everything in an instant. The sound of crashing water and the sound of rumbling buildings collapsing all the time. Mixed up. And this kind of scene was staged almost simultaneously on all the beaches near the Atlantic Ocean. Help! Ah! Cry for help. The woman screams continuously. When the Atlantic shock event completely broke out, countless geologists, countless countries, and countless oceanographers were all stunned when they heard the news. The sea suddenly burst out with terrible power, which made all mankind realize something unusual. It also made these humans deeply aware of their smallness and vulnerability. That is the bottomless sea. There is no light. But when the mercenary base was established, it was predicted that perhaps a submarine would come to sneak attack. So at the very beginning, a detector was placed deep in the sea, and the sound wave was far away to directly show the situation of the seabed. On the computer. At this moment, that body's forced fur, his eyes widened, and the cigar at the corner of his mouth fell to the ground. He is responsible for testing the seabed. It is no exaggeration to say that this detector has never found any enemy after so long. But now, he is not so good anymore. On the computer, there are huge pythons. According to the data, the longest python reaches more than 120 meters, and the smallest python is more than 10 meters. The number is more than 1,000. Okay, the python can dive, which also makes sense. But behind the group of pythons, there are countless beasts. According to the feedback, there are dozens of huge lions, monkeys, orangutans, even mice. This is particularly problematic. This probe is placed nearly 1,000 meters above the seabed. How can creatures on land move fast in the seabed? God, what is this? Gosh, these creatures appeared on the bottom of the sea. Am I dreaming? It's malfunctioning. Is it a computer malfunction? In the entire monitoring room, with the sound of that hairy voice, everyone looked at his computer. After seeing the situation on the computer clearly, they sucked in air conditioning suddenly, all on their foreheads. It's big drops of sweat. His mouth even said unconsciously. This kind of scene is really weird and incredible. Wow. Deep in the sea, Yi-Bei had long realized that his actions here were detected by the equipment on the mercenary base, but he did not destroy it. Everything on the experimental island, Yi-Bei is now inevitable. Those deep-sea probes are definitely needed. Speed up. Chi-Chi. Spit out Shinzi, Yi-Bei continued. And the 7 people in the monitoring room of the mercenary base, after observing that something was wrong with the seabed, they all quickly rushed out of the monitoring room and came to the most expansive field of the base. Originally, there were many tanks and armored vehicles. But when the chief was responsible after people brought it to the experimental island, the place was extremely empty. Of course, even the site became a lot wider. It's just that these humans, not long after they rushed out, had not had time to stand still. After seeing the scene in front of them, their mouths it's almost torn apart. Wow! Roar! Look around. I saw in the sea, suddenly made a huge sound of clattering, and then one by one pythons rose into the sky from the sea. The huge body covered the sky and the sun. Along with the appearance of these pythons, there was a terrible roar. But this is only the beginning. 100, 1,000. 1,000 pythons rushed out in a vertical posture. Immediately behind, there are groups of various mutant beasts. When these monsters rushed out one after another, the scene was naturally conceivable. Shocked. In addition to shock, still shock. God, what are these? Snake God. God, these monsters are all flying out of the sea. Selling karma, this must be a dream. Such a voice continuously came from their mouths. The head is not enough at this moment. Plop, plop, plop. Even to the back, when thousands of mutant beasts all rushed out, these logistics mercenaries were completely defeated by the sight in front of them, thumping one by one, kneeling on the ground, eyes dull. Wow. Booming. On Yi Bei's side, he didn't care about the situation of these human beings at all. After all the mutant beasts boarded the mercenary base, he rushed directly to the front. The huge body moved on the ground, making a clattering sound. All obstacles in front of him were pushed aside under that terrifying body, and the rumbling sound continued. Less than 20 seconds. Yi Bei had already arrived in front of these logistics mercenaries. The more than 1,000 mutant pythons, as well as the mutant beasts of other races, are surrounded by groups. The greed and appetite in their eyes are undisguised. In the eyes of these guys, these humans are undoubtedly the best one of the food. Those eyes converged into a terrifying killing intent, making the air a lot colder. If it's not wrong, only you humans are left on this island. Besides, the others have all been killed by me. From now on, do things for me. Do you know? Chi. Nearly half of Yi Bei's body was coiled on the ground. In addition, the general body is upright. Rao is like that. When these humans are in front of Yi Bei, they are as small as ants. Okay. Especially these human beings. When Yi Bei's voice came in their minds, their sluggish eyes trembled suddenly. Wow. In the next instant, everyone suddenly raised their heads and looked at Yi Bei. The shock and fear in their eyes increased several times again. Snake, did you speak? Can the mutant beast speak too? What a joke. His lips trembled and the voice was still nodded.
As the logistics staff of the mercenary organization, even responsible for monitoring and intelligence, these people naturally know the power of the mutant beasts on the experimental island.
But the mutant beast can speak. This is definitely the first time they know. Don't doubt it, I am indeed talking to you. Now, I ask you to help me crack the data in a computer and a chip. Shouldn't it be difficult? Yi Bei's eyes were indifferent. Chi. The scarlet letter spit out from his mouth. Too much food was swallowed in the sea before, and the strong smell of blood spread wantonly on the mercenary base. No, it's not difficult. We can do it. Of course can. Facing Yi Bei's strength and the cold eyes of the thousands of mutant beasts around, the logistics staff of these mercenary organizations were shocked and stunned. How could they dare to say nothing? One by one nodded frantically. I'm afraid that if I accidentally offend the giant python in front of me, I don't know how to die. Well, Yi Bei didn't hesitate, nodded slightly, and when the voice fell, the computer obtained in the abandoned laboratory in the white area and the chip obtained from Wang Dong immediately appeared out of thin air in the logistics of these mercenaries. Before the eyes of the staff. Creation out of thin air? At this moment, these people felt that their heads couldn't turn around even more. Mercenary base. Under Yi Bei's order, these surviving logistic mercenaries moved all the tools that could crack computers and chips to the empty field. Time passed quickly. 1 hour. But compared to these humans, this hour is definitely longer than decades. The snake can talk. The snake is more than 120 meters. And I have never seen this kind of snake. And the snake said that all the mercenaries had been killed. In addition, there was nothing around. But under the snake's method, computers and chips suddenly appeared. The amount of information received today is really too large, and these logistics personnel simply can't respond. When they moved the cracking tools, each one looked even more dull. However, under the cold gaze of Yi Bei and the huge mutant beast group, although these human beings were a little bit distracted, they did not dare to be half-hearted. A series of operations such as connecting the power supply, turning on the network, and networking were all surprisingly smooth. Then, cracking begins. However, Yi Bei didn't simply look around when he cracked it. Chi. Instead, the letter was spit out, and the spiritual power domain enveloped the entire mercenary base. Even the mutant beasts standing far away could clearly see the way these humans operate. The body becomes stronger. This is only second. The mutant beasts, if they want to become stronger, in addition to evolution, they must also rely on external forces, just like humans. Individual humans are not as powerful as ordinary beasts, but they will the use of tools, even the development of technology and the creation of weapons. They have more than wild beasts, and they are only IQ. Now it is different. You both have enough IQ and have a strong physique. From now on, the rules of this world will change. It will change accordingly. So now, everyone is watching these human operations seriously for me, and all small details must be deeply remembered. If anyone is careless, he will end up dead. Yibei squinted his eyes. When I said this, he was murderous. If you want the mutant beasts to be further improved, you must urge them in terms of strength. Haha. After the voice fell, the attention of all mutant beasts was all on these humans. Link the power supply. Connect the network cable. Power on. Start up. Enter power on password. Tap the keyboard. The speed of these logistics mercenaries was still very fast, and under Yibei's strong pressure, they did not dare to relax. In the same way, their series of operation techniques are all deeply reflected in the minds of these mutant beasts. The finished evolving potions give these mutant beasts an increase in IQ, and similarly, it doubles their learning ability. If a computer is placed in front of these mutant beasts now, they definitely know how to turn on and how to surf the internet. Time continues to pass. In the middle of the sea, because of the tsunami, the whistling sea breeze continued. At the mercenary base, all the mutant beasts kept their eyes wide open and kept breathing steadily. Besides, they didn't dare to make any more noises. Those logisticians were quickly tapping the keyboard one by one, with cold sweat on their foreheads. Snake God. This computer has several passwords. With our computing power, it can't be cracked at all. You must find a supercalculator and use brute force to crack it. A white man is turning on the computer in the white area of the experimental island. After more than an hour passed, still no progress. This guy was sweating anxiously, and finally there was no way. When he looked at Yibei, his pupils were pale. The time doesn't matter. It's only an hour now. Just use the tools here. I can wait. Yibei's tone was cold, and he glared at the white man. Then, the white man didn't dare to be verbose and continued to work hard. On the other side, the progress of cracking Wangdong chip is very fast. Yibei could clearly see the cracked reading on the computer. 50%, 80%, 99%. After an hour and a half, the cracking degree of the chip had reached 99%. In 1 hour, 40 minutes, the progress bar finally reached 100%. The man responsible for breaking the army was a black man in Mauzi. Yay! Snapped. When it reached 100%, the two of them jumped up directly, slapped their palms, and cheered. However, in the next second, when they realized the situation at the moment, their eyes were occupied by endless fear. Snake God, this chip has been cracked, and all the information can be viewed. The black voice trembled, looked at Yibei, and said seriously. Mauzi nodded. I know. Now, you two can help hack that computer. Yibei said lightly. Chi. When the two left, Yibei immediately called a mutant monkey from the mutant beast group. Did you understand these human operations just now? Yibei glanced at the monkey. Yes, Wang. I already know how to operate this thing. The monkey who was called over nodded seriously. Very good. There are many folders in it. Open them one by one to show me. Yibei continued. Originally, he wanted to let the black man and Mauzi operate, but these materials all related to his own life, and it would not be so good if humans saw it. As for this mutant monkey, he is not literate now, and even if he sees it, there is nothing. Yes. The mutant monkey did not dare to hesitate and squatted in front of the computer. Bang bang. One hand quickly tapped the keyboard. The other hand is controlling the mouse. The smooth and proficient movements caused the mercenary organization logistics staff, who were busy cracking the white area computer, to burst out one by one. The monkey can also play on the computer. Special. Starting today, this world is definitely going to change completely. Once these mutant beasts develop more powerful, humanity will be threatened like never before. Da. The mutant monkey operates very quickly. Drop. A few seconds later, a folder was opened by the monkey. Yibei only concentrated his mental power a little, and he could clearly see the name of the folder and the contents hidden in it. But when Yibei finished reading it, the murderous intent in his eyes continued. The things recorded in these documents far surpassed Yibei's imagination. At the beginning, Wang Dong and the others didn't even tell all these things even after death. In the death of his Yibei, a huge conspiracy was hidden in it. What I have learned before is nothing more than a superficial.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe.